if it sees that that record's already in the master database, it won't pull it in. No duplicates. No duplicates. Very, very, very cool. Okay? And so we go down the list, we pull all these in. Then we come back and we're going to pull in specific information that each of the different databases were able to capture and pull into their programs. Let me show you real quickly. We go to master here and we go to DBF specific. Look at this. I've captured from generic 3 different email addresses, assuming that it was scraped, it was pulled, but I can create 3. From Instant Business Finder, 3 more. From Google Places, with PowerLease Pro, 3 more. And so what happens is, it's going to, as I click on these buttons, if it finds the record by the basis of the telephone number, it's going to update all of these fields for you. It's going to update them. Oh, that is so, so cool. So what happens then is, if I'm doing my marketing, if that email address is bad or it bounces, I can just pull up their record and see what other email addresses I have to work with. Because like I said, different scraping programs pull different information, and some are more effective in pulling information than others. And this gives you the best of all the worlds, and it puts them all into one record, all tied together. So I've got all that information, and that's what these are going to do. It's going to populate all of this back here. Okay, and then I've got a couple programs here that actually specifically grab Google Places information. IBF, the only field it pulls, unfortunately, is whether it's been verified or not. Where PowerLease Pro, look at this. Google Places, PowerLease Pro pulls all this information. What page they're on, what position they're in, if it's verified or not, how many citations they have, categories, reviews, how many photos they have, how many videos they have, what their average rating is. And every one of those is a marketing opportunity. And so what I've done then is I've pulled data from Yellow Pages and Super Pages and IBF and other lists I've created through generic and import them all in the system, and I've updated them all with this information. They've all been updated. So one record with all that information synced together. PowerLease Pro also will pull some information about their website. At this recording, I don't have that syncing function built yet. It's still being programmed in at this point. And then you'll be able to pull in and look at all this information. The description, their Facebook URL, their Twitter URL, their LinkedIn URL, their organic position, their H1 tag, their meta keywords and description, how many indexed Facebook mentions do they have, or Twitter mentions do they have. You know, and all this information possibly can be pulled in. Depends, again, on the actual scraping program. I'm only working with the information that's been scraped, and I'm giving it to you in a format that allows you to work with it effectively. Now, once I've pulled all that information in, the last thing I'm going to do is my UBL here. And what this is going to do is it's going to sync in with all of the records that are currently in the master, because it only works with those ones, looking for the telephone number, and then it syncs in. Look at this. First of all, it's going to sync in the first name, the last name, their title, their gender. And then we come back over here. It includes number of employees, annual revenue, sync code number, break it down to a 4-digit sync code, and the description. Look at this. Let's do a real quick query by form. Powerful, powerful feature. SIC code. I want to know, we'll go up here to my query genie, and I want to go where the number of employees is not blank. Is not blank. Run it. Okay, I've got 1,043 records that are not blank, that have a number of employees. And so if we look at this information, you can see that this one was pulled from Google Places. That was the master on this one, was Google Places from PLP, and it just synced into it all of this other information, what their annual revenue was, number of employees they have, their SIC codes, all that information. Now this particular one didn't have a first name or last name, but this one did. Look at this. For Lisa's Doggy Day and Night Spa, again, pulled from PowerLease Pro Google Maps, otherwise known as Google Places. It also pulled in the first name, the last name, the owner. This is so powerful. And I can turn around and I have all this information all synced together in here. Look at this, right? Let's continue moving forward through here. Let's look at a few of these. Okay, so here we got some additional email addresses. Okay, so this one here pulled in for IBF and Superpages, but neither one of them provided email addresses. So real simply, I can go to their ad up here, click on this, and take me up to their ad, which is their Google Places, or in this case, their Superpages listing. Go here, and I can see if I can find an email address for them. And here I've got Superpages. I've got the web address from Superpages and from Yellow Pages. I've got their listing for Superpages and Yellow Pages listing to go look at them. Where's the email addresses? Find those email addresses. And here I've got those ones plus IBF, Google Places. See, and it all syncs them all in together. And here are the Superpages pulled. In this case, Superpages pulled the email addresses, but I didn't get any email addresses from IBF or Google Places or Yellow Pages. You don't know where you're going to get the information, but by syncing them all together, it allows you to effectively work with that data effectively. And if this email address is bad, then I can use this one. Very, very cool stuff. So this is just a quick overview of what this program's all about. And then look at this in the master. I can come up here to W for Word, and I can create direct mail pieces and merge in any of these fields into a direct mail piece and direct mail to them from this program. Fully personalized, fully customized. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And if that's not enough, if I want to do postcards, look at this. I can do labels. Look how fast that was. And I can print out my labels real quickly. Or I can export all the records to a CSV file and pull it into a third-party program, or just the name, address, phone number, email addresses, and export that is a CSV file based upon the query. Choose the query that I want to work with, export the data out, pull it into an autoresponder wherever I want to take it, send out to cards, piece of cake, import it in, boom, postcard sent out. We've got email marketing. I can do a new email campaign to this group of people, fully personalized. I can merge in any of the fields in this database into an email. Beautiful. I can view it from a browse and look at my data from a browse point of view. Here's the 1,045 records that I was working with in that last query. It shows me the records in the query. And from here I can turn around, sort them, maintain my same group. I've got abuse treatment, air conditioning, alternative medicine. Look at all this information I have. Let's go to the very end of this record and let's take a look at this. Look at this. I show the number of employees. I show annual revenue. I show their SIC codes, all this kind of stuff. Maybe I want to do a marking piece based upon what their annual revenue is. I can do that. Look at this. So much information that I can use for marketing. But the beautiful thing is all synced together in one program. I just made your life a whole lot easier. And then from there, you can turn around and do your marketing, build your business, and life is good. Your success is based upon how well you manage your list. And I can market to these people over and over and over again. I've got notes down here and keep track of notes. I've got some special fields over here that if I'm working with them, I can, no marketing, they tell you no marketing. I can go give them a class code, like a prospect, a suspect, whatever the case may be. I got three different marketing groups I can work with, and I can put them into and categorize these records. Powerful, powerful stuff, so that you can do your job of selling your products and services, whatever they may be, to offline businesses. There you have it. A real quick overview of the power, efficiency, and effectiveness of the Offline Marketer CMS list management CMS system. Powerful stuff. Great. You're going to love it.